This is Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Julie.
Join us for unbuttoned and unedited conversations.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we'd like to welcome Clayton James to the podcast. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. I just saw some familiar faces in your intro there. It was nice to see some of those people. I haven't seen some in a while.
Yeah, lots of fun people. I wish we could fit everybody in, but it would be a really long intro.
Yeah, it'd be a very long intro. It'd be a movie at some point in time. So.
Well,
which is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Here. Right. It's a lot of fun. Your movie, His and Hers, comes out on September 7th, which is just a few days away.
Yeah, we're close to premiere, which is really cool.
Really fun. Tell us a little bit about the movie.
Basically, two lawyers who are played by Brennan and Lacey ended up taking on a case for myself and Steph. I don't really know how much I can say or what, the breakdown basically is, but Steph and my characters are reality TV show personalities, and we are very much larger than life and very much needing attention and, just true to some of the characters in that sort of industry in that world and just very vibrant attention seeking people, which has been a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to film with everybody.
So the larger than life characters for this movie as that's what you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, there's some scenes where not a lot of normal people would create this animosity in a public place and or this much showmanship or attention seeking. So, which, I kind of find social media world has actually shifted a lot. And there's actually a lot more of those people nowadays that are out there doing silly things and making big entrances and, big personalities, which is normalizing a lot of it. Is that great? I don't know if it's, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like social media has shifted, how we kind of view narcissism, if that's a correct thing to say.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair point. So you play Brett, and then Stephanie Bennett is Tabby. So these larger than life characters, did you have an inspiration?
I mean, honestly, you got to channel a little bit of yourself in a lot of things. Not that I'm attention seeking, but I definitely can be loud and, vibrant and, he's got some swagger too. I try to have a little bit of swagger in my times, but the tiger tracksuit definitely put me right into character. I don't know if anybody's seen that screenshot yet, but that was my favorite outfit of the whole show. So, and I got to keep it, which is nice.
I was gonna say, did you keep it?
I wore it to my friend's 40th birthday party, and honestly, I walked into his hotel and I was sweating profusely because I was so nervous about wearing it, but I kind of lost a bet with him, and I also needed an excuse to try it out in public. And I was getting like giggles, and I was getting like people kind of being like, yeah, all right. And then other people were just like, oh my God. I had one lady walk up to me and she's like, can I get a picture with you? I'm like, I know it's really silly. She's like, no, that's the best outfit I've ever seen. I'm like, you're lying, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm like, at least I think I know what I look like. I didn't leave the house going like, I'm killing it right now. I was like, this is going to get some mixed reviews. So, which kind of put me in the same realm as, Brett, but Brett would have just pulled it off and he wouldn't have any question about it. So, but the wardrobe girls were fantastic on that and really helped you get into character. Kind of, there's a term and it's a blank boy, F boy kind of swagger that he had to himself. And it was just, they kind of just really put me into character, and it was a lot of fun. And then just like, honestly, like I said, watching a lot of social media personality and like TikTok people who are kind of drawn to that sort of style. It's really, predominant nowadays in our society to kind of tap into. So it wasn't too hard to kind of get some ideas for it.
Right. So Geraldine from the Wardrobe Girls and the Wardrobe Girls did the wardrobe. They're spectacular. We love.
Oh, they're so fantastic. Yeah, so fantastic.
And if you need to find his tracksuit that he's talking about, it's on his Instagram.
Yep. Yeah, I should have tagged the brand. I forgot to tag the brand. I'll probably go back and at least tag the brand so that if anybody does want to buy it for fun, they can figure out where it's from. Although I would like to be the only one rocking it, but I don't mind twinning. I don't mind twinning with a few people. That's okay.
That's fun. Did the two of you and Geraldine or whoever you were talking with, did you talk and kind of like come up with a plan for how Brett dressed?
I mean, they had a better idea in their mind. I mean, I got the script really fast and then we got sent to wardrobe pretty quick. But but everything she brought out, like there was a couple no's, and I'm really easygoing with my character to trust wardrobe. And if there's something that doesn't really work for me, I don't think it works for the character, then that's kind of where I'll put my foot down a little bit. But normally I'm pretty easygoing. I think like I want to collab their ideas. I'm never really kind of, and if we do, we just collaborate back and forth. Like there's one of the suits that I was wearing, they had either a bow tie or just a tie, and I was like, what about a bolo tie? Like that's way bigger. And I've always wanted to rock a tuxedo on the red carpet with a bolo and like big either cowboy, snakeskin cowboy boots and or something with like a French heel. Just like I just love the look of that. So, and I've seen like artists do it at music shows and stuff like that. So I kind of just had that idea in my mind, and they were all about it. They loved it. So we collaborated a little bit, but most of the stuff they pulled out, I was really impressed with, and ended up buying a fair bit of stuff for my wardrobe as well, just because I don't always have that eye for stuff to go together. So I got some Doc Martens and a few other nice pieces from them.
I love it. I feel like everybody we talk to that works with the wardrobe girls always ends up taking a few pieces home.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, you have to. They're so good. Yeah. They're, I worked out in Montreal too, and the East Coast fashion and stuff out there more predominant than Vancouver per se. But they had some really nice stuff as well, and it's nice to have an attention to detail and have the budget as well, because I know on some of the smaller productions, it's really hard to go out and get a lot of these nice pieces.
Right. So
you kind of got to work with what you got. But we were able to kind of play around a little bit and have some really fun outfits. And, he's wearing gym clothes out to like a restaurant, and kind of just, I just came from the gym, and just that flashiness. And, it's just really suited him, and sort of the environment and the area that it was set in. So.
That makes him pretty fun, though, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you love playing the over-the-top character? Was that fun to play?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, comedy for me, we don't, it's hard because sometimes you don't get a lot of comedy. Luckily, in my career, I've been able to do a lot of different varieties, thrillers, dramedies, and all that kind of stuff. And So Help Me Todd was a lot of fun. But this was a little bit more pushed comedy, and LL and the producers and the writers were, they allowed us to play a little bit, which was nice. So we kept it in the realm of a lot of things, but even just some in the moment stuff that Steph and I kind of collaborated with, and some of the improv that Brennan and I collaborated with in one of the gym scenes, and just a lot more fun to play, and anything that you can kind of like get out of your skin a little bit, and that's a bit bigger, is always fun to play. So yeah, I had a lot of fun kind of bringing the comedy to it.
Love that. Tell us a little bit about working with Steph, and these characters, like you keep saying, are very over the top, and we don't always get to see that in these Hallmark movies.
No, exactly.
So it was a lot of fun to watch. And tell us a little bit about the two of you and your dynamic. And did you get to kind of wing it a lot, or come up with your own stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Steph and I have known each other for a long time. She's actually married to one of my good friends that I've known for a while as well. They're two amazing people. And Steph and I worked together probably longer, maybe eight years ago, and we bonded right away. So it was really nice to collab again. And we're such goofy people, like just outside of the camera rolling. We're just like always cracking jokes and being silly with each other. And then you kind of bring that back to set. And working with her, just sort of the stiffness that she brought to some of the characters, and the loudness that she brought, it was just so much more fun to play off of. So she really brought it. And any actor knows that when your scene partner is bringing it, you got to bring it too. And then it just builds the scene to be more dynamic, and you can play off of each other, especially with comedy. So yeah, it was also nice to have a familiarity that we kind of knew each other. She might get mad at me for saying this, but we kind of parallel our characters a little bit, in some of the moments. So forgive me for saying that, Steph, but I'm admitting that about myself as well. So it was, it was a lot of fun. And like I said, just when the camera wasn't even rolling, we're just cracking jokes and trying to be quiet, if anybody else is doing their scene, but like in the green room, just being silly and playful and having fun the entire time. And that was a lot of fun working with Steph, because she really brings it too, especially that diva-ness. Don't know where that comes from, but
that is a lot of fun. So Lacey and Brennan's characters are not the crazy people, right? So is that a nice juxtaposition of those two couples?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the funny thing about it is, though, like in my mind, me and Brennan's characters parallel each other. It was just how that we kind of presented a little bit, but the storyline that it kind of follows is, you see some similarities, but they are very different people.
Right.
And their dynamic and their relationship is very different. And that was the cool thing about this one, is that Hallmark, brought something a little bit more broad to their script, and more real world scenarios, and you don't always see that in some of the films prior. And the writing was really great too. So again, I don't really know what I can and can't say, or what I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but the parallel between our characters and Lacey and Brennan's characters, and then also just like the real life struggles, were pretty interesting to see. And those two are such fantastic people to work with. I've never worked with either of them before. I've always heard great things. And I fully am so thankful to work with Brennan. We hung out after work a couple times and just really bonded, and he's such an amazing person. And during the shoot, life has been kind of up and down for me, but it was nice to sit and talk with him and just like get real with him. And he's a really caring, awesome person to work with, really professional, and what he brought to his character was great. I mean, our dynamics in the gym and a few other things, it's pretty funny, and we had some good improv as well. So
that's fun. Brennan talked about the gym scene too, I think, with us, right? Yeah,
right.
It was real funny. So tell us about that a little bit. We have some scenes where all four of you are together.
Yeah.
So how was that like filming? Because we have like the A couple and the B couple, and you're not always together in the movie, but it's just their stories kind of parallel and
sure.
very much intertwined. So tell us a little bit about the scenes where the four of you are working together.
I mean, honestly, it was like having parents and angry children, like in that one scene where it's like, no, and it's like, come back. And then the kid's like, well, I don't want to. And then it's like, no. Well, and then the kids are kind of like looking at each other. They're kind of ready to like, get into a little scuffle or whatever. And then the parents are trying to drag them back. And, Brendan's trying to make me be quiet because I'm trying to make an announcement and stir the pot with what's going on. And then, Steph's character is trying to get dragged into that. And we're kind of doing this little dance where we're kind of like staring at each other and alternating. So, I always kind of thought it was just like two parents trying to keep their kids from getting into a little scuffle, and keeping their kids at bay almost, because we kind of were like children, acting out and seeking attention during those scenes. So yeah. And then in a couple of the other scenes, just the eye focus where Steph and I aren't saying much. It's more to do with the lawyers dealing with stuff. But that was a lot of fun too, just having those moments between her and I that were more, just about emotion or connection, that didn't really have words behind it. And then watching Brennan and Lacey do their thing as well for their characters. Yeah, I mean, like I read the script a bunch of times, and all the scenes were such fantastic scenes and deep dynamics and different things. And yeah, it's like I said, I mean, the one scene that sticks out for the four of us is just that party, that gala scene. And like I said, I mean, it's just like me crossing my arms like an angry little kid about to throw a temper tantrum, and Brennan's the dad just trying to calm me down.
I think that's our Easter egg. Everyone can look for that scene where we have the parents and the children acting out. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. So kind of fun that you hadn't ever worked with Lacey and Brennan, but they've worked together a ton, and you've known Stephanie forever. Did that make that dynamic go a little bit easier when you're comfortable with her and they're comfortable with each other?
Totally. Yeah. I think it really brought it true to life. I mean, it was like we just had history together, and we've known each other for a long time, and we have that goofy side to us. I mean, we were always getting shushed on set back in the other movie because we're just either gossiping or just having little fun banter moments. So it was kind of the same thing as this. And again, Brennan and Lacey, working together in multiple films and having such great dynamics, and their friendship outside of work and stuff like that is fantastic as well. So yeah, it just brought true to life. It wasn't like a far stretch to find those connections between those two, and then Steph and I, and then also just the closeness that we got over the film to them kind of also worked as the film went along as well, because her character was getting to know Lacey's, and my character was getting to know Brennan's, and then it kind of just was like shifting and kind of growing together. So yeah, it made it easy. It made it a lot of fun.
Love that. All right, so we've been talking about how this movie has a different dynamic than a lot of Hallmark movies that we are watching lately.
Right.
Tell us, how does it still kind of give us that Hallmark feels?
It's about love, baby. It's about love. It's about trials and tribulations of love, and just paralleling a lot of truth into what people go through, and what fame can do to people, and then just what working together as a team or in the same office as a couple, marital dynamics, all that kind of stuff. I think it's about love, and it's a really beautiful story, and I think it's more true to life, which is really nice, and people can relate to it a little bit easier, of just the struggles that people can go through during being married, or people, not everybody, but these people kind of rising in their career and then falling off a little bit and trying to find their own feet again, for Steph and my character. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of nuance for everybody that it can be enjoyed.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Like, I think that's why we love a Hallmark movies, because we know where the arc's going, but it's the journey and these maybe newer twists to the journey that we're really enjoying.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think this follows a traditional, because it's sort of a little bit, bigger. And so, yeah, the arc is going to be a little bit higher, I think, in this one. And I know Hallmark's starting to write, really great things. And there's a couple shows that are in pre-production, and that are, exploring a little bit more real life scenarios. And I think that's great. I think that they're doing a really good job in their writing and their filmmaking and TV show making. So.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We love these little changes that we're getting. And another change in this one is the twist to the story that wasn't completely obvious throughout the entire movie. So was it fun to get to play that?
Yeah, I mean, anything a little hush hush that you're kind of like, keeping the president behind your back as you're going along is really fun. And yeah, I think it's going to be really enjoyable. I always like things where people think that they know what's happening, and it's like, oh, I got this, I totally understand. And then there's just like a big curveball towards the end, and it's like, oh, didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? And it makes it for a better story. So yeah, I think it's going to be, some people will probably figure it out, but I don't think a lot of people will. And yeah, it was definitely fun. And some of the moments towards the end when our character started exploring those things, was kind of trippy as well, just with the set that they built and putting us in those moments. And yeah, I don't know, it was fun. It was kind of fun getting caught off guard, even just as an actor, as they built the set and as we created together. So yeah.
Fun.
So when you were filming this, do you, just without giving anything away, do you have a favorite scene or a favorite location?
I mean, honestly, the gym is probably one of my favorites, but again, like I got to play in so many different scenes. But the gym was probably just Brennan and I's dynamic in that, and just the characters looking at each other, both kind of going like, what is with this guy? So yeah, the gym scene was a lot of fun. And then there's a radio interview as well that I thought was quite fun, that we ended up doing a little bit of improv. I don't know I can't remember. I don't even know what stuck in the edit, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay, that's fun. So I have to go back and watch the radio interview scene, because I can't.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe it didn't make it. I'm not sure.
I think it did.
Okay.
I think it did. Okay, so what are you most excited for fans to see in this movie, or to take away from it, maybe?
Yeah, again, I think it's a little bit more true to life, and I think that there's just a lot of comedy, and you're gonna have a couple of chuckles and laughs through Steph and I's performances and Brett and Tabby's characters, and yeah, just like you gotta. I mean, if I'm gonna get real, like with Brennan and Lacey's characters, you gotta work through your stuff. You gotta look at it as when you got a partner and you love your partner, you work through it, and you kind of hold on to that. And I think there's a true love story behind both sides of it. And I think that if fans can really take that away and enjoy the comedy of it as well, and then again, the curveball, I don't want to give too much away, but it's a lot of fun at the end. And again, just the comedy. And if I get 1 or 2 laughs from it, whether it's the tiger suit or, me just being silly in it, and people enjoy it and get a couple smiles, then that's all we can ask for. And so, I just really hope that people take away the true to life storyline and then the comedy.
Yeah.
I love that. Super fun. So maybe just a couple questions so people can get to know you a little bit better.
Sure.
People know you so you have quite a few episodes. You're a regular on So Help Me Todd.
Yep.
And of course the Hallmark series One Calls the Heart, where
Yep.
you played Kevin. People saw you for quite a few years there. It's great to see you in a movie again. What do you like about doing a series? What do you like doing about these movie of the weeks?
I mean, yeah, series are fun because you get to build a family over time, and the crew all bonds together, and then you get close with your castmates, and you get to go into work, maybe not every day, but a majority of the days, and create and have fun. And for the most part, I know that there's people that work together who have a harder time working with each other on long periods, but for me, it was a dream job, and Scott created this show and brought me along, and I felt very thankful for that, and got to work with some top-notch, amazing actors, some really seasoned experience, and they again let me improv and play, and it was a lot of fun. And then I vanished for a little while, and then went back to season 2, and getting back to the crew, everybody was just the same and happy and bonded together. So that's one thing I love about being on a series, was just the camaraderie and the creativity, and seeing a show kind of just created from Scott and his passion project. And again, comedy is just so fun to do. And then the movies of the week, they're just a snowball. You get kind of, I'm always so nervous to start them, because you got to do a lot of work, and you have a lot of dialogue to memorize. And every day is some days you're doing 15 or 16 pages of dialogue, and features you can do 3 or 4 pages. You just have more time with it.
Right.
But they shoot them so quickly, it's so fun as well, because you're just kind of holding on to your seat, and you just go for it, and you let things go, and you can't really sit there and think about the scene too much, because you get 1 or 2 takes, and so it's a bit more of a fast roller coaster ride. So that's a lot of fun. And again, you're in and you're out, but you have such a fun time doing it, and everybody's sort of, again, just all right, let's just keep going. You gotta go. And just it's a fast paced momentum race. And then everybody at the end's kind of, oh, we did it. We got through it. And then you go, oh, now what?
Now what?
Yeah, now what? So, they're both great things to do. And I don't really have a preference of one or the other. I think the MOW world is an amazing world. And I think there's a lot of great fans out there that are able to find time to watch it. Series are a little bit harder nowadays, but if somebody gets into it, then a lot of people can stream it and, build that and binge watch it if they need to. So, I like both of them. The MOWs are just quick. So
yeah, it's still amazing to hear about that, how fast a movie of the week comes together.
For sure.
In such a short amount of time. So did you always want to be an actor?
No, I mean, I grew up racing mountain bikes, and to be honest with you, I never really had an idea of what I wanted to do. There's always kind of this creative side to me, but then playing hockey and more athleticism, racing mountain bikes, snowboarding, skiing, all that kind of stuff, I thought that I would kind of go down that route. And then I always wanted to take drama in high school. I just never really got to it. I think it would have been a safer place for me to exercise my emotions. I'm an only child. I had a lot of stuff, percolating as I was growing up, and didn't always know how to channel those emotions. So, and then when I was 21, a friend of my family members said you should try out commercials, and I was absolutely terrible. I had the worst stage fright. I pretty sure my first commercial audition, I just whispered, and the director asked me to speak up, and then I yelled, and they were like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And I walked out the door going, "Yeah, this isn't for me. I don't think I'm going to be very good at this." And I was like, you know what? The athlete competitiveness side of me was like, I got to keep trying. So I took a commercial workshop, and then through the door burst Andrew McElroy, who is a really renowned coach in Canada and such a vibrant person. And I was like, what does that guy teach? And they're like, acting classes. And I'm like, I want to try that. And kind of just felt very passionate about it. Struggled for a long time to make a sort of a career out of it, but the more I got knocked down, the more I kind of just kept getting back up and,
Yep.
and enjoying it. And it fulfilled me more and more. And then, my creative side sort of started coming out a bit more. And my grandma was a singer, entertainer for, old folks homes. So she had a group called the Music Makers, and they would dress up and do like all these old show tunes and stuff like that and go around and entertain people. Because I was always kind of trying to figure out where that, artist side kind of came out of me. And then kind of rest is history. Just kept sticking with it and doing the best that I can. And, I've been able to have like a really nice sort of trajectory and career throughout it, and worked with a lot of fantastic, amazing people and made some really cool products. And at the end of the day, they're going to live on forever, these films. And unless AI takes over and wipes everything, then maybe they don't, but hopefully not.
Right. So what was your first job that you got paid for as an actor?
My first job as an actor, I mean, I did commercials. I got flown to Florida to do some beer commercial spots, which was amazing. Like I didn't book anything for 4 years, and, just a struggle. And again, I had a lot of stage fright. It took me a long time to get over just that, that fear and anxiety of whatever it was. Right. But I booked a film called Her Infidelity, who was directed by Christy Will Wolf. It was fantastic. She gave me my first opportunity, and it was a lead, and I was very thankful. And I think that sort of, was really a good experience. Was I ready? I don't know, but I went for it, and it was really well received, and it's still really well received. I get people talking about it still. And so, that was like the first acting job that I sort of had booked, and then worked on shows like The Fringe and a bunch of CW stuff. And kind of just started making my career from there.
I mean, not everybody books their first job as a lead.
No, and I fully understand that now that I think about it. I've always
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was honestly very thankful. She gave me a great opportunity to do that. And again, not everybody gets to. Some people right out of the gate can, but at the same time, it's always nice to kind of work through it and build up to those bigger roles, because sometimes it's hard for actors to take on, especially being an MOW. I mean, if you don't have experience, it can be really daunting at times to memorize all those lines and all those pages. Then you get one take and you're in your head going like, they're like, we got it, it's great. And then you're going like, I'm just warming up. I'm just saying the lines. Like Clint Eastwood would talk about having actors on the third or fourth take. He's like, all right, now we're getting somewhere. Like, let's just keep going. David Fincher's worked with people for multiple days on just one scene or a couple lines. And that can also be daunting as well. So I was really lucky that Christy gave me that opportunity.
That's a great story. Yeah. Love that.
Do you have a dream job or a dream role?
A dream job is acting for me. I mean, it's something I get to be creative at, and I get to collaborate with a lot of people. Like a genre or a role would be a very gritty Western, or even like Peaky Blinders, ideally something really gritty and raw, like Tom Hardy's trajectory in some of his films, like Bronson and a few other ones where it's just like rugged and raw. But I'm very thankful that I've gotten to play psychopath killers. I'm very thankful to play, like I've gotten to play in Christmas movies, thankful to do romantic comedies. I'm very lucky that I've been able to play some of those, but I really haven't had that, big beard, tooth missing, just gritty Western or something, that I'm still hoping for. But that would be my dream, would be something like that. Just really dark and dingy and a lot of substance and really great writing.
Yeah.
No, you really do have kind of a broad career, and you don't have just like one genre. It's got to be more interesting as an actor to do that.
Oh, for sure. And like people think that, it's hard sometimes to reach out of the box, but some things just fall easy. And some people are like, oh, you play a psychopath so well. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a good thing per se, but it's definitely fun. And I don't know. I find you got to bring, every actor's got to bring some part of themselves to these roles. Billy Bob Thornton talks about it, and I believe it's Sling Blade or whatever film. He's just like, you just bring some of yourself to it, and then you have fun and you play. And it takes a team to make these movies, and the lighting is critical, the directing's critical, the writing's critical. And so when everything comes together and you all work as a team and everything kind of just molds, then you have a really great product. And like I said, for His and Hers, we had such a fantastic team. And I'm really excited how that one turned out, and I can't wait to watch it. So
would you ever want to get involved in the, production side, maybe directing or writing?
I would honestly love. So I've written stuff before.
Yeah.
I'm a little ADHD. I'm a bit of a hyper person, so it's hard for me to focus sometimes on script writing. A friend of mine and I are going to revisit some of the ideas that I have, but I would love to direct. If any of my friends ever need a coach or a reader or anything like that for their auditions, I'm more than willing to go do it, because I like creating and I like giving people ideas. And everybody wants to make it their own. So when you can collaborate with yourself and another actor and you're just throwing ideas out there, it's directing in itself too. And some things work and some things don't. But yeah, directing would be amazing. Like Peter Benson's moved into directing, and I ran into him a little while ago and wanted to do a coffee with him just to sort of kind of understand that, and that dynamic. And then a director friend of mine, Dave, who I worked with on some show, I can't remember, my brain's not working, but he's a director, and his trajectory as well, and just like the visionary and putting it all together. Christy, LL, like all the people that I've worked with are just so fantastic. So I've really thought about somehow trying to get into directing.
Yeah, I love that. We've had Peter Benson on to talk a bit about the actor, director, and those pieces and that point of view. It's fun to think about that. We love all the pieces that bring us to these movies.
For sure, Peter's a fantastic person. I love working with him. So I hope he's my director one day. Peter, come on, let's go.
Cast you. Let's go.
Yeah, let's collab.
I love that.
Pick his brain.
Yeah, we actually did get to meet Peter last December. Yes, we were in Vancouver. We got to meet him. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, super nice. So we have this little game that we usually play. Are you up for it?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. It's not really a game, but do you have a favorite rom-com or multiple?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just the chemistry between those two is fantastic. So and side note, my mom and my family have a cabin up in the Sunshine Coast in Canada here, and her DVD collection is vast, and like we rewatch that movie all the time. So it's nice to kind of go back and watch that and have fun with it. That I don't know, it was a fun dynamic between the two of them. So
yeah, I remember seeing it in the theater, and anytime I see it on, I always stop to watch it, because how can you not?
No, it's a great film.
It's so good.
Right. Do you have a favorite TV show or a TV show you're currently binging?
I just was going back to Mr. Robot, and then I just started. Is it Bad? I think it's Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I just started that one, which is fun too. It's sort of dramedy, set in Florida Keys, and so it's that one's fun. The Bear is a really fantastic show. I haven't seen season 3 yet, but those are the ones I'm currently watching.
I have not seen any of those, so I need to get on that. Yes. What about a favorite hobby or pastime that's not acting?
Playing hockey. So I still goaltend for some friends of mine randomly. It's hard for me to commit as a goalie, because you always need to be there, and I'm not always available, unfortunately. But I still playing hockey, and then I also I have a boat, so I spend a lot of time on the boat, just getting away and being kind of secluded, and sort of a liveaboard, so I can go away for 4 or 5 days and just kind of be in nature and kind of remove myself from the small hustle and bustle of Vancouver. It's not the same as LA when I was living down there. The energy's a little more chill, but it's nice to just get out of the city. So
yeah. Do you fish?
Yeah, we caught 3 coho. I haven't had a lot of chance to fish this year, but I have all the gear. I always say I'm a fisherman with all the gear, but never the time. So we fish, we crab, we prawn, we catch lingcod, we catch Dungeness crab, prawn, like spot prawns. So yeah, it's really nice. It's tough living when you're out there with a nice bottle of wine and eating fresh crab and prawn. It's a good life. So I'm very blessed to be able to do that.
Right. Do you have a favorite food? Maybe healthy and indulgent?
Favorite food? I mean, honestly, I'm pretty easy going. Like, I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy. I do love trying new restaurants. I love going out. But like my staple meal would be like a ribeye steak, a little bit of crumble of blue cheese, potatoes, and some veggies, with a nice bottle of wine. I love wine. I love trying new reds and stuff like that, and opening the palate to that. And then junk food. Yeah, chocolate. Any kind of chocolate is delicious. I like dark chocolate a lot, especially when it's mixed in those little like brittle like they're mixed with something, whether it's almonds or it's kind of like collaborated into like those little bites. I don't know where you guys are at, but Trader Joe's, I'm obsessed with all of their snack foods. So we don't have it up in Vancouver, but when I lived in LA, I would go there every day and just like grab a little something here and a little something there. And they also have licorice that licorice would be my other go-to, like the Australian licorice.
Love that. All right, let's go back to the wine. What's your favorite?
My favorite would have to be, I mean, I've moved into the Chilean wines, but I like an Australian Cab Sauv or California Cab Sauv. It's just like a nice, bold, nice, what am I trying to say? Oakiness to it. I'm not going to try to sound like a wine stuff because my brain's not going to, but a nice thick red is always really good. There's one out of California called Juggernaut, and it's a really delicious wine. So
I'm writing it down because
we got wine recommendations.
Yeah, we have a big neighborhood wine fest, and one of the regions is California. So maybe I'll find that.
Yeah, my friend, he's got like 6 wine subscriptions. So I always kind of just say, hey man, you want to hang out? What did you get this week? What did you try this week? Let's try a little bit of this. Let's try a Bordeaux. Let's try a Pinot Noir. Let's Grenache. Like, and in the interior of BC produces really nice VQAs, and there's all these wineries up in Kelowna where my best friend lives, and so we tend to go out there and try some wine and see what else is, what the collaborators are making. And Jason Parks owns this Black Swift and a few other ones up there. And interesting enough, he got his children to design their labels on a few batches of their wine. So it was super cool. Yeah. Because it was just hand drawn by like 5-year-olds. And he's got some of the coolest art at Screaming Frenzy, I believe it's called. But yeah, it was really cool to kind of collaborate that and see their different wineries and their vineyards.
Those are fun. Here we are, getting wine wrecked right now.
There you go.
Love it.
All right. So what about music? Do you have a favorite band or singer?
My number one go-to, I have my 3 favorite girls, but my number one go-to is Billie Holiday. Her lyrics are tattooed on my arm. She was one of my grandma's favorites, and just brings back a lot of childhood memories of spending time with my grandma, who was really big into jazz. And then Edith Piaf and Patsy Cline sort of have traveled through that. Favorite band is Kings of Leon. And then I like, honestly, all types of music. Generally throughout the day, like a little bit of chill house, just because it kind of is, easy going. But I've been going through life and its trials and tribulations. So country came back into my life a little bit. And Morgan Wallen, I'm telling you, I don't know what that guy does. I mean, he's everywhere these days, and he's producing some really great music. So been listening to a lot of him lately. But yeah, every type of music. But when I'm cooking, it's going to be jazz and Billie Holiday and like Louis Armstrong and a few other classics, and put a record on. That's some of my favorite things to do while I'm cooking. So I was just my grandma had like an extensive record collection, and my little cousin, who's 18 now, has fallen in love with all types of music, and he got a bunch of her records that I've never even heard of. So we were like exchanging back and forth, and he's like, oh, have you heard of this person? I'm like, no. He's like, they're amazing. Oh, I'm like, have you heard of this person? No, these are fantastic. And like artists from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like, and he's really in tune with music, and his mom helped, she raised him that way as well. But pretty interesting to see his record collection as an 18-year-old, these days, because he plays video games, and then it's also just like, oh, check out my LP collection. He's like 150 records, and like, again, just from every type of different music. So
yeah, no, you don't really see that very often in young people.
It's kind of cool again, though. I will say,
we're all dating ourselves here in the young generation.
It's kind of cool again. The kids all have record players again, so
I know
that's coming back.
Yep.
You can't recreate that the crackle and the pop. It's just like the sound of a record just surpasses anything that you're gonna get digitally.
Right.
And especially with jazz and the classical stuff, it just sounds way better.
Yep. I agree. And I was thinking as you were talking about the music, isn't it funny? I don't know if I've ever really consciously thought of this before, but depending on what you're doing, like your mood for music changes.
Oh,
Yeah.
1,000%. And
Yeah.
generally when I get scripts too, I listen and find, I'll find music that will go with that scene, that will kind of just stimulate what's happening in that scene. I mean, if you watch movies without a soundtrack, it's a completely different movie. When these people that score movies and parallel this amazing soundtracks, really they make the movie as well, because without it, you're not going to have that same sort of feeling in your body. And like you're saying, like, again, cooking for me on a fall night with a bottle of red and jazz, it's just kind of like, it brings that, kind of that out of you. Or if you want to go for a run, you're going to be listening to some rock or some EDM. It all plays into that. And I'm sure for the both of you that you have specific songs that will instantly bring you back to a memory, whether positive or negative.
Right.
And it's just like you're instantly back in it, just from hearing
sure.
a few of the keys or a few of the lyrics.
Right.
All right. So what is your soundtrack for His and Hers?
Oh, I mean, I think Brett's definitely EDM and like rap. Like he's gonna have to. I don't really know specifically which artist, but yeah, he's like a hip hop kind of guy, and some EDM while he's in the gym for sure. He's got that swagger to him. He thinks he's a little bit of a pit bull when he's really more of a chihuahua maybe, but
I feel like that's our clip.
Right.
We can bust that one out.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's perfect. Okay, can you describe or give 3 words to describe His and Hers?
Funny, loving, dynamic.
Perfect. Love that. So why don't you tell everybody when and where it's going to air?
You guys can help me out here, because in Canada it's a little different, but I believe it's the Hallmark channel, September 7th at
8/7 Central.
Yeah.
I got to be at my sister's wedding, so I've been my little sister's getting married, so
Well,
my
fun.
half sister, so I've been focused on that. I'm getting a lot of phone calls because I'm emceeing it last minute, and she's really trying to make sure I do a good job, and I'm hoping to do a good job. So I'll miss the premiere, unfortunately, but I really hope that everybody enjoys the film, and that a lot of people, if they can't see it, they DVR it or whatever they can do to watch it. And then all my Canadian friends and family and fans up here, we'll announce it when it gets up here. So
yeah, well, that's a good reason for having to miss it.
Yeah.
I hope your sister has a lovely day.
Me too. She's a little stressed out about it.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
You're gonna be great at that. That'll be so
I've
fun.
emceed before. I bombed my best man speech at my best friend's wedding. I bombed it bad. I should have written stuff down. I was like, I got this. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but I froze. And I emceed a friend's wedding because it was less pressure. Crushed it. But so I'm hoping to at least not bomb as bad as I did at my best friend's wedding. But
You'll be amazing.
You live and learn. So
You'll be amazing.
That was fun. Well, Clayton, thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your day. We're excited to meet you. Do you have any other projects coming up that we should be watching for?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the title of it's called, but there's a Christmas movie coming out that we shot in February, I believe. We were in the middle of Canada. It was very cold.
Yeah.
But I don't know the exact title of it because it's going to change. But that I'm hoping comes out around the Christmas time. Not sure network or streaming service yet, but that's pretty much it. We're back to the grindstone and sending out the auditions and just having fun with all the work that's hopefully coming up.
Yeah, I'm sure it's coming. So we'll watch you in His and Hers, and then we will be looking for your Christmas movie, whatever it's called, on whatever network.
Yeah.
We'll put it out there.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. It was us as my multiple personalities. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Come back sometime soon. Hold on 1 second. We'll end the recording. Thank you.